Welcome everybody to another edition of uSTADIUM Fantasy Live. I am Chris, and with me, as always, is Stefan Bersh Bomber. How is it going, big guy?
I'm excited. I mean, all the NFL news for the last few weeks. We get to do a mock draft, the first of the season. So I
Yes, sir.
couldn't be any more excited right now for tonight's show.
Yes, sir. And our mock draft is almost filled up. You can see the room there. We got one more spot. Head over to the uSTADIUM Twitter account. The link is there. Come in and claim that last spot. Before we get to anything, I just want to talk about Underdog Fantasy. That's who we are presented by. The NFL season is almost underway, but you can still draft a new fantasy team each week on Underdog Fantasy to win prizes. Through their slick mobile app and user-friendly site, you can join a league and draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are going to help you get started with a up to $100 deposit match when you sign up and make your first deposit and use the promo code uSTADIUM. So just visit underdogfantasy.com, the App Store, the Google Play Store, sign up with the code uSTADIUM, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. I mean, that's free. You're playing with free money at that point. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code uSTADIUM. We also got, there we go. Last spot claimed. We got Zach on there. We also got the TikTok take of the night. We hit on the last one with Duke beating Arkansas. Tonight's is the under of the Brooklyn Nets and Detroit Pistons game, 233.5. So get in on that take. Takes is live right now. It's moving. There's a lot of cool stuff. The thing that I like about takes the most is you as the user is pretty much the sports book, where instead of the sports book dictating what you can bet on, you can go on there, and as long as your take has a clear definitive outcome, you can make money on that. You can disagree on other people's takes, and you can agree on other people's takes, and people can disagree on your takes. There's some big money ones on there right now. I've seen some of them above the 20,000 mark.
Oh yeah.
So it's looking good. I'm hyped on it. We are ready to go here. We got a pretty much full room. Superflex rookie mock is what we're doing here. Half point PPR. If you don't know what Superflex is, you're pretty much starting two quarterbacks. So the quarterbacks hold a little bit more value in this type of league. So you'll see the quarterbacks go a little bit earlier over some other players. I know Steph's here at the 5th position because in one of our leagues, he is drafting at 5. So he's kind of doing some
good little cheat sheet.
He's doing some recon to find out what he can get to either move that pick or possibly use the pick. But either way, we got a full room. We are ready to go with this. We've been off for 2 weeks. There has been quite a bit of stuff going on in the Matt Ryan went to the Colts. Russell Wilson went to the Broncos. I don't think that was a move that was made last time we were on air.
No, it was after. A little bit after. Yeah, a little bit after 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we like football's afoot. This off season for the NFL has been absolutely electric. There's been stuff happening every day. So the rookie NFL draft is right around the corner. It's a month away, 30 days away. We are gonna have boots on the ground there, bringing you guys live, up to date information. All kinds of stuff on Twitter. Zach's going to be there. I'm pretty sure Zach and Splash are going to be there. It's in Vegas. So, I mean, you're going to have the time of your life there. Either way, to go.
Apologies to my terrible hair. I was out skiing all day. Yes, I will be at the draft. Splash will be there. Get on with your draft. I can't wait to wax y'all in this eventual fantasy season. So, peace out.
There he is, the man himself. master of the university content here at uSTADIUM, Zach Berman. Follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow. Pound for pound _ Berman. PXP _ That's Zach. He's electric on Twitter. I like what he does on there. But without further ado, let's not keep our guests waiting. Let's get to this rookie mock. I'm gonna start the draft.
Oof, let's go. It's got to be Malik Willis, right?
Yeah, I would think a Superflex. I mean, I've seen Breece Hall go 1. I've seen Malik Willis go 1. I don't think there's another quarterback as of right now before draft capital and landing spot. I don't see another quarterback going in that 101 spot. Jay Pellegrino is not in the room right now, so we'll kind of let him tick down. We'll talk about it. Is there a player outside of Breece Hall or Malik Willis that you would be comfortable taking in that 101 spot?
I mean, unless Traylon Burke ends up somewhere that needs him, I mean, I don't really see it. I mean, Breece Hall, I've been trying to trade up from the 105 to even just get somewhere like a lick closer to that, but it's just going to be that guy. It's Malik Willis, depending on a team like in our league. You know, I think the number 1 overall pick doesn't necessarily need a quarterback. So, like, it really depends on the roster, how you guys are stacking up. And if Malik Willis doesn't even go to a team that we can look back and be like, is he going to be worth it? I don't even know if he goes second. Like, unless he goes to like the Detroit Lions or Seattle, even Atlanta. I mean, I know they just signed Mariota, but like, you know, you gotta develop the guy that it is. I mean, he's got a strong arm. Looks like he's NFL ready, but I gotta go Breece Hall, and there it goes.
Big Breece going 101. I'm up next. I think I'm gonna go Malik Willis here. I'm not gonna pass up on the quarterback in a super flex mock here. Like you said, Detroit's a prime landing spot. Atlanta would be a nice landing spot. I think Atlanta, he'd have a better chance at starting right away. I want to see him on Detroit just because they got the Hard Knock series. So being able to see the battle there for the quarterback position. There's been a lot of talk about Malik being raw and not quite NFL ready. But we've heard that with some prior prospects, maybe like a Justin Herbert. We've heard that about him. And he came onto the scene, absolutely lit up the NFL and continues to light up the NFL. But yeah, for me, I mean, this pretty easy pick, Steph. It's Malik Willis here. In a 1 QB league, I'm probably going to lean towards one of the top end wide receivers. But because it's a super flex and you're ultimately starting 2 quarterbacks, I mean, you want to take the value of the position, right?
I mean, you're looking at if Malik Willis even does go, you're looking at a guy who's going to be scoring you 25 points, you know, depending on the scoring format, of course. But like,
yeah,
I'd rather take him over a quarterback or over like a receiver, because receivers are capped to no more than maybe 20 points on a good day. But Malik Willis has the arm talent, maybe goes to a good team, and you're looking at 25 almost, you know, points a game with the guy if he balls out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, and the comparisons have been a mix of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, which is high praise. I don't know if I'm ready to put him in that category yet of those two, because those two guys are top 5 dynasty, redraft, any kind of fantasy football you play. Those guys are top 5 quarterbacks. They run the ball. They throw, well, Josh Allen throws the ball a lot. They both run the ball. We know that Lamar Jackson is electric. He's ready to run at any chance that he can get. So, I mean, if you're drawing player comps to those two guys, it's hard to pass up on the value there.
It's like, I'm looking at the 3 pick right now, even like, do you go Traylon Burke or do you take Garrett Wilson? Like, who do you, like, if you had to choose right now, like, is Traylon Burke that much better than Garrett Wilson? I'm starting to think not. I think I've been watching a lot of Garrett Wilson like tape, a lot of his highlights, and this guy's going to probably be the next small ball receiver. You know, like Burks is like that prolific, like big guy, go out and get it, like Calvin Johnson, say Mike Evans. But I'm saying the Mike Evans comparison for a guy a little bit lower.
Ooh, Kenny Pickett. I mean, the super flex league. I don't hate it. This is prior to landing spot. Like we said, we got about a month out from the NFL draft. I cannot wait for the NFL draft. once the NFL draft happens, what we're doing here kind of becomes a little bit irrelevant. My goal with this is to kind of create our own ADP with these guys. So M. Nelly's next. Follow him on Twitter at ANellylytics. He provides a lot of great content on the upcoming rookie class and Devy football, C2C stuff. He's from the Devy marketplace. Those guys do tons of good work. I think he might have got a little scared of the Kenny Pickett pick and decided that he was going to dip out on it. Maybe he wanted Pickett at 4. Maybe he rage quit. I don't quite know.
This is a hard decision, though. Like, if he doesn't go Burks, I'm left with 3 studs.
Yeah.
Okay. Go back to Kenny Pickett. I'm kind of curious. In what world, you say it's draft night, right? That he gets drafted. What's the perfect team that he gets drafted to that he gets taken, say, this high? What's the only 2, say 3 teams you would say that you go, okay, Kenny Pickett, I'm taking you 3rd pick, 4th pick. Like,
for me, I mean, if I'm taking him this early, he would have to be in a position where he's gonna start the year. So give me Atlanta, give me maybe Houston, even though the Texans have come out and said that they are gonna try to build around Davis Mills. So maybe the Texans there, or I mean, other than that, a lot of the holes on these teams have been filled through trades and free agency. So Treylon Burks with the auto from M. Nelly. Great pick there from the computer. I like it. Burks has been falling a lot in some of these experts' rankings, but I don't hate the pick. The guy is an athlete. Where are you going, Steph?
I mean, honestly, I wanted Treylon Burks. I'm a huge fan of him. I'm kind of torn between a running back in Kenneth Walker, or Drake London, Garrett Wilson. If I'm looking at the team I have right now, and if I was to make the decision, like my heart saying the Mike Evans style, Drake London, they stud is an absolute when it comes to football. But the only university that uses receiver after receiver after receiver that's not named Alabama is Ohio State. So I can't let Garrett Wilson slip that far out. I mean, I wanted Kenneth Walker. I was assuming that Treylon Burks and Garrett Wilson were looking to be there over Drake London, but I couldn't pass up this stud. I think he's going to be a future like all pro, maybe a Pro Bowler. I just think if he lands the Chiefs somewhere good, I think this guy has nothing but pure talent to show the team. And if they get a quarterback and they can get him the ball, I'm looking at maybe 1,000 yards his rookie season.
Wow, that's it's been done. The past 2 seasons, it's been done, right?
We've been spoiled. I mean, the last 2 seasons, we've been spoiled. Wow.
Yeah.
Jameson Williams. Ooh.
Not a pick that I hate either.
No.
I like the Alabama wide receiver. He is coming off the knee injury, but again, a guy that can go up, high point the ball. He's going to get the yak. He's going to run the routes. I mean, ends up in a good situation. He's been linked to the Saints. He's been linked to the Chiefs. He's been linked to Green Bay. So anywhere where that guy is going to end up with a solid quarterback throwing the ball, Jameson Williams can absolutely be the wide receiver that finishes at the top of the list for these rookies when it's all said and done.
I mean, there's a lot of receiver needy teams, more than we thought. Especially with all the signings with Tyreek and Devontae. Like, someone needs to give Aaron Rodgers a new toy. Like, get him a new car, get him a new something, because we don't have anybody there. And Drake London is another great pick that goes off. Yep. It's gonna be interesting though to see the end, when the front end guys go and then the back end guys start to come on, like the Christian Watson, Sky Moores. I want to see where those guys end up going, because these guys are clear cut. You can really rank them over each other a little bit. I have Treylon Burks over Garrett Wilson. I have Drake London over Jameson Williams. I have John Mechie down there a little bit. George Pickens has actually been riding up on my my draft boards a lot lately too. I've been watching a lot of tape on him. Even Matt Corral. Those are 2 guys I've been looking. I'm like, these are guys that are heavy slept on because of all the Malik Willis's, the Kenny Pickett's, Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller is still on there. Kenneth Walker is still on in this type of round. So even if you're in these like Devi startups, you can still trade into him because you won't get more value than you would at this point of the draft. Like I have some second round picks, and if I want to move back into the first round and I'm seeing Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Spiller still there, I'm like, what can I do to get back?
Yeah.
Exactly. Just get back 2 or 3
Yeah.
picks because they're worth more come this time draft time. So after they're on the teams and you're drafting, Kenny Pickett has a home, Malik Willis has a home. These picks are so much more valuable.
I agree with that. Kenneth Walker just went next out of Michigan State. Really came onto the scene this past season in college football. Electric on his feet, can get in and out of his cuts pretty quickly. Wasn't that much of a pass catcher in Michigan State, but they weren't really that team that was dumping it down to the running back in the first place. Can he catch? Does he have the hands? He has showed those flashes in his game. So depending where he lands, he can be that 3-down guy for you that's gonna move in and out of the holes, gonna bounce to the outside, gonna catch the balls. For me, it's Brees in the first tier, and then Walker and Spiller in the second tier, with Rachaad White creeping his way up into that second tier of rookie running backs, especially if these guys land in prime locations. Another wide receiver off the board, Chris Olave. It is a wide receiver heavy draft in terms of talent going into the NFL. Rachaad White, there it is. We just talked about him. Surprising that he went before Spiller. I think Spiller's combine kind of hurt his value a little bit, seeing his 40 time and stuff like that. But the kid's an absolute stud. Whatever team he goes to, he's going to get it done. I just hope he doesn't land up in one of those committee spots where he's not going to see the field a whole lot. But I don't hate the Rachaad White over Isaiah Spiller, especially if Rachaad White ends up in a prime location.
Yeah, that's why when we look at this now, like you said, these are all this is all going to change. All this is going to be different. Like if Isaiah Spiller ends up going to Seattle, I'm taking him high too. I think he could take that spot from Penny. No disrespect to Penny, but I think he'd be one of the better ones there. I think I see, what is this? Rachaad White. I'm a big fan of what I've seen from him. I mean, I've looked at his tape, and if he's sitting there in the second round, he's a back I'm taking in the second round. He might be a guy though, I think might be in a early season committee and then break out to be a, how we wanted Javonte Williams, how we wanted Rashad Penny to be that's a guy I think he'll end up being once he gets familiar and he beats out the guy that's ahead of him. I mean, I don't really think there's a lot of guys that are easy to beat out, but I think there are 4 or 5 running backs that are if you don't perform this year, if you're not on your A game, this guy's going to come in here and run your spot. He's fresh, he's new, he's got everything ready for him. So don't be surprised if you see White's name at the end of the season and that's going crazy.
Yeah, I agree. White can run the ball, he can catch the ball, he's a do-it-all back that can be on the field for all 3 downs. FF Halsey, another great follow on Twitter. Great giving you rookie insight, fantasy football insight. Go follow him at FF Halsey. He just went with Sam Howell from the University of North Carolina. He had the 2 great seasons. Last year, he kind of had an off season compared to his first 2 seasons in Carolina there. But I don't hate the pick of Sam Howell before the end of the first round, especially in a Superflex draft.
I mean, I don't know what to think of how, like you said, I hate to compare some of these guys to Mitchell Trubisky, where they drafted him off the hypeness of him. I think a lot of these guys are not going to be day 1 draftees, maybe day 2 late pickups.
Ooh,
Desmond
4
Ridder.
quarterbacks taken in the first round. Desmond Ridder going as QB number 4. The oldest quarterback in the class from the University of Cincinnati.
I like it. I mean, I had him actually before going to Detroit at 33.
QB run.
Wow.
I mean, I wanted to take Watson here in the second, but I cannot pass up the value of Isaiah Spiller falling to me at the 1-2. I mean, this is best case scenario for me, building my team through the rookie draft. having Isaiah Spiller fall to me in the second. I mean,
that's great.
That's great value. I don't got to say much more than that. For me, the Texas A&M prospect, I think should be going mid to late first. But again, this is predestination, pre-draft. A lot of it's hype right now with a lot of these guys. We've seen what Spiller can do, so I mean, this is an easy pick for me right here.
Wow!
I love how it goes. Wow!
They got the sound effects because I guess we're reaching. Who is your number one rookie wide receiver? For me, it's Garrett Wilson. I like Garrett Wilson over Treylon Burks, but it's 1 and 1A. I mean, they both move the ball good. They're both yak monsters. We know Treylon Burks is a yak monster. Some people were debating his speed. He hit 22 miles per hour in game running the ball downfield. He has the separation. He can get a little bit lazy. When I was doing some research on Treylon Burks, he can get a little bit lazy. He can get a little bit sloppy with his routes. I personally just like Garrett Wilson just a little bit more than I do Treylon Burks. If I'm ranking him right now, I got Wilson, Burks, London, and then Williams. With Wilson and Burks being in the tier 1, Williams and London just below in the tier 2. What's your number one wide receiver? Yeah, I know you just talked about it, but
I love the guy Treylon Burks. Him and Garrett Wilson, like you said, are 1A and 1B. I just see that Treylon Burks. I want him to land in Green Bay. I want him to take over that Devontae Adams role. If he lands somewhere there, I think he's going to be the best receiver in the year. Just like I think if Garrett Wilson lands in Green Bay, the Chiefs, like he's 6 foot. He ran a 4.38 40. Like this guy's speed is just crazy. But I just look at the athleticism of Treylon Burks. Like you said, he does have a little bit of like a laziness to him. Like if he can get that it factor, like that dog mentality, like that every receiver has, like I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna snatch it from you. Like give me like a DeAndre Hopkins / Andre Johnson play style. This guy's my number one. But if Garrett Wilson has been creeping up little, like I had him and Olave, close to each other for a while, and then I just had, Wilson just stole the show, even over Drake London and over Jameson Williams. Like I would trade up back into the front if I could secure, say, an Isaiah Spiller, Walker, and then also double down and get me like a Garrett Wilson, because this guy going forward, I told you, he's going to be a pro, a 1,000-yard receiver, I believe. But my heart stays with Treylon Burks. I just love those 6'4", big, lengthy receivers. Yeah, like those guys just go up and get it. So that's why I kind of want to go with my boy on this one. One of your biggest loves of the year is Christian Watson.
I wanted to pick him in. I wanted to pick him out 2-2 so bad, but I couldn't do it, man, because Spiller was there. I had to pick Spiller.
And if I start off, like, I know this is all like an hypothetical, but like if you give me Garrett Wilson and you give me Christian Watson, I'm telling you right now, I'm winning our league. Like this is a great.
I've seen you eat those words before, Stefan. I've seen you eat those words before, buddy.
Hey, last year's draft was a really weird one, and I don't want to talk about how it ended because we know what happened. If I had one more week, I would have made the playoffs.
Yeah,
but but I gotta say, McBride, like, how do you feel about him going at 2-4?
I don't hate it. It was an auto pick, so I think they went with the next available guy there. If it's a tight end premium, give me the tight end there in the second round. I don't hate it at all. It's not a tight end premium here, so for me, if he lands in a premium spot, I don't hate it. He's the clear cut tight end 1 of the class. So you're solidifying the position with Trey McBride. I know we have some clips of him on YouTube highlighting him at the Senior Bowl practices and stuff like that. So give me all Trey McBride. After Trey, you picked Watson. Then we had James Cook go at the 2-6. Another good pick. Jahan Dotson falling to the 2-7. I mean, Drake London and Jahan Dotson, another great
Good
stack.
start.
Wandale Robinson at the 2-8. And then we got Kaye picking. I can probably see the Sky Moore pick. Sky Moore has been creeping up these rookie mocks since his combine and stuff like that. So I can see him creeping up, especially I know Kansas City loves him. They're really eyeing Sky Moore. So if he lands in a position where he is the wide receiver 2, say for the Kansas City Chiefs, another guy that can put up great numbers for you. His first year producing for fantasy football. Out of the picks that have gone already, if one of these guys lands in a spot that you favor, who can creep into the first round? For me, it's Christian Watson. I think he can end up creeping up into that late first. Who's the guy for you?
To be honest, like I'm looking at it, and I mean, I said Isaiah Spiller is not going to fall out there, but like I think it's Christian Watson, and I think I personally take Zamir White over James, over Cook. I think
a good pick at 210.
If he goes somewhere, give me like what team, like Houston, like a team that needs that running back. I wouldn't be, I'd be okay with taking him in the late first round.
Yeah,
like I think he's one of those guys that you look at him, they're like, no one's talking enough about him. He might be getting some hype now, but like this guy is a powerhouse. Like James Cook was good. Like don't get me wrong, but what scares me about James Cook that I love about Zamir White is that when he's healthy, he is a freight train.
Yeah, I think it's the double knee injury that kind of
and you know how I feel about the injuries.
Have some people a little weary, but
is there
Zamir White's got it all as a running back.
But is there someone that's more, I would say, aggressive than Zamir White in this round besides, say, Breece Hall? Like I see Zamir White as like a bruiser. I think Isaiah Spiller goes a lot higher than we got. So but
Zamir White's got it all. He's got the vision, he's got the bounce, he's got the hands, he's got the speed, so he can hit the hole and he can break tackles. He's gonna get upfield. He's gonna do everything that you need him to do as a running back. For me, when I'm watching these guys, the main thing I'm looking for is, are they on the field in the passing downs? Are they pass blocking? In the NFL, if you cannot pass block as a running back, you're not going to see the field a whole lot. That was my big thing with Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming into the season. When he was drafted to the Chiefs, he shot up rookie drafts, and I just wasn't buying it because the dude is not the greatest pass protecting running back. And if you cannot pass protect for one of the best or the best quarterback in the league, which is Patrick Mahomes, if you're causing that guy to get hit, then you're not going to see the field. And we've seen that. They just picked up Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones, not the greatest pass blocker either, but he's a much bigger body than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to move to that passing down guy, that pass catching running back. He's not going to be the guy that's going to be bouncing in and out of holes for the Kansas City Chiefs. But before I get timed out, I'm going to make my pick here, and I am going to go, the Purdue wide receiver, David Bell. In the third round, I got my quarterback, I got my running back, I got David Bell. Analytic-wise, he is a pretty good wide receiver, but it's a lot of people are down on him. Getting him in the third, I don't hate it. I'm getting him as the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm getting him as the wide receiver 12 in the class. I think I'd probably take him over Justin Ross and maybe Wandale Robinson, just because of the size of Wandale. I think he's going to be used more as that gadget guy. David Bell's a big body wide receiver, not the fastest guy on the field. He's not going to burn a lot of guys going downfield, but he can make the plays that you need him to make to get those first downs. I think he's a wide receiver 3 to start his career in the NFL. if he can land in a good spot, I know we've said that quite a bit with this draft, but if he can land in a good spot, his value is definitely going to rise.
And I mean, a receiver 3 isn't always like the worst. Like, you can look at some receivers 3s and they have actually put up some decently good numbers when it comes to like fantasy. Oh, let's see. Now I'm in the position where
Pierre Strong. That's a great pick. I love Pierre Strong.
Do I go and get my? I'm looking between two guys. The stud out of Florida. I mean, John Mechie was taken, so I can't really, I'm kind of mad about that.
I like that pick. I like that value pick in Mechie there. I was debated between Bell and Mechie for that third round pick, but I like what Bell can do.
See, I'm torn between two guys right now. Do I go Kyron Williams or do I go with the stout and Damian Pierce?
Man, Kyron Williams, he's taking a hit, man, from his combine and everything. He's taking a hit. Not the biggest guy either. So
I just feel like he could be one of those guys, like one of those elusive, like smaller guys. But I think I have to go with Damian Pierce here. What I've seen at Florida, what I saw him do running that ball. Yeah, Sleeper probably thinks it's a reach, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I think this guy eventually becomes a three down back, a guy who you give it to on first down for 45 yards. You give it to on second down. And maybe, he's not the fattest guy in the league, running back wise. So you can develop him into like a good pass catcher. But I just loved when I saw him at Florida. Like this guy was one of the best players on offense out there. So it's kind of hard to take him over Kyron Williams. But I watched Kyron Williams' combine. I watched some of his games. He does have some things that hold him susceptible to being a lesser back, like some things he has to work on.
Yeah,
that's not a bad one, though.
Khalil Shakir, I don't hate that pick either. Again, the NFL season is almost underway, but you can still draft a new fantasy team every day, every week on Underdog Fantasy to win cash prizes through their slick mobile app and user-friendly site. You can join a league and draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are going to help you get started with up to $100 deposit match when you sign up and make your first deposit with promo code uSTADIUM. So just visit UnderdogFantasy.com, the App Store, the Google Play Store. Sign up with the promo code uSTADIUM, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code uSTADIUM. I've done a few best ball drafts already on uSTADIUM. I like what I got going on. They also got hockey on there. They got baseball. They got basketball. They're covering all the sports there on Underdog. So get to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code uSTADIUM and use that to play with free money. I mean, who doesn't like playing?
It's free.
Who doesn't like winning free money with free money? Right?
I mean, apparently people don't want to sign up because I'm looking and I love how like when you look at the app, like I'm over here looking and like it's the easiest thing. It's like, well, John Morant go for over under this many points. Will this guy do this? It's the easiest left, right, and like it's free money. We're giving you a free like deposit with it.
Yep. And they're right now their football drafts are best ball. So you're just drafting and then you're not even worrying about your team.
Yep.
They got leagues for $3. They got leagues for $10. I think they got leagues for $5. So you can join
low budget drafters.
Yeah, you can join. Pop $30 on there. They match it, give you another $30, and you're gonna join 10 leagues and have a good chance to win because it's best ball. Draft, set it, forget it. See you later. I mean, I like what they got going on over there at Underdog. I'm excited to be presented by Underdog. But yeah, go to use promo code uSTADIUM and they'll match your initial deposit up to $100. After the Shakir pick, we had Tyler Algier go, another stud running back. The guy, oh man, getting them in the third, I think, is a steal there. Crunk 77 with London Dotson and Algier, definite sleeper. Caleb Ellaby, another quarterback off the board. Jerome Ford, Calvin Austin. I like Calvin Austin.
I don't know what to do with him though. Like I like this tape. He ran a 4.32 40, and he's got all the accolades, like the vertical jump, the broad jump, all that. So like he's got the makings to be a good receiver. But like, where do you see him going if he does? Because I know he's not gonna be a day one, maybe not even a day two kind of a guy. But like, if someone could snag him for late round pick, I think this kid could be one of those guys. Maybe like a year down the road, and maybe 2 years, they have him develops into a great, slot receiver, into a great like outside guy. At 162, he's small, so he's fast. So like a Tyreek, I hate using the comparison to Tyreek Hill. I only use it because he's the fastest guy in the league, and he's like the only guy people try to become. And we're still to this day trying to find the next Tyreek Hill. So I mean, and especially in this draft, like you said, you took 12? You took David Bell after 12 receivers went. Mm-hmm. This year is going to be just chock full of talent. Like looking at all these names,
it's very
running
deep.
Backs.
Wide receiver, especially, it's very, very deep. You're gonna get a good wide receiver, a decent running back in these middle to late rounds of your rookie drafts. So I like Calvin Austin because he might get the higher draft capital because he can return kicks. If you're going to return kicks in the NFL, you're going to go before some of these guys that don't necessarily return kicks. Zach's guy, Tyler Beatty, goes 311, another value pick. I'm probably taking Beatty over maybe Jerome Ford.
I'm a fan. I'm happy.
I love the offense.
It's like I have a bat signal. Someone says the name Tyler Beatty, and poof, I'm here.
Yeah, and you got to interview him at the
from somebody that watched a lot of him in college, watched plenty of his games, both in person, on TV, all his pro day tape, his Senior Bowl tape, his combine tape. Think of a more physical Darren Sproles.
I like it.
The team that I heard, and I'm going to give you a little tip based on what I know. The team I heard that may or may not be interested in him, and I really like this fit based on who's running their offense, is the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh,
another running back, though, you think?
I like that. Hey, can't never have.
He's a little bit different. You can use him as a receiving back. Like I said, the Darren Sproles comp is there.
I definitely like the landing spot. Miami's beefed up their O-line. They've beefed up the wide receivers. So having that speedy pass-catching running back, like Zach said, who's more physical than, say, a Darren Sproles, isn't a bad thing for fantasy purposes. And the thing I like the most about the Miami landing spot is that maybe some owners, seeing that Mostert is there, seeing who else went there,
Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds went there. They might drop them down. They might drop Tyler Beatty down their list, and you might get him back of 3, early 4. So I don't hate it. I don't hate the landing spot at all. Fantasy purposes, we know Raheem Mostert isn't a guy that's gonna play
glass, man.
He's not gonna play. Most likely not gonna play the full season. So I don't hate the landing spot for Tyler Beatty to Miami. You heard it there. Zach's the guy when it comes to Mizzou football. So take his word for it. It's
free knowledge too. Like he drops in, he'll tell you something for 10 seconds and get right out, and he gets to the point.
It's free game, man. Free game. Kyron Williams.
I was waiting for that one.
Round, drop into the 4th round. I mean, I think it has a lot to do with his combine. His combine numbers weren't that great. So having him fall to the 4th could be a value pick. He was a stud in Notre Dame. So is that a value pick to you, getting him in the 4th?
I mean, to be honest,
prior to landing spot, obviously.
Of course. I mean,
and draft capital.
I think, and this is going to sound like a reach here. Honestly, I feel like I would have like Hassan Haskins over him. Like I would wait to take a Kyron Williams and get like, say, someone else I might need and come back around at this end of the round, 4th round, and get someone different. But I think Kyron Williams now has like a chip on his shoulder because we're all just talking this schmack against him. He's gonna be like, all right, every NFL player has that one moment where they start writing down their book and like, okay, I'm gonna remember this. I think Kyron Williams is gonna take all that heat. He's gonna sit there and go, okay, I watch. And if the team that needs him the most, if it's Seattle, Houston, even Atlanta, I know Scordale is still there, but like a team that needs a running back, he's going to come out like, listen, you took me, 6 other running backs went ahead of me, and you're going to see why they shouldn't have that whole, that whole shindig of a speech to tell you. I think correct landing spot, he's a baller. I think if he doesn't fall somewhere, he can pull himself out of the woods or the swamp. I think he just becomes another committee back unless he just does something to wow a certain team or gets put to a team that needs him. Go, hey, listen, we got you because we believe in you to be the back. Please don't Clyde Edwards-Helaire us, you know?
I hear you.
So
I hear you, man. Speaking of Woods, my last pick, Jelani Woods, absolutely electric at the
6'7".
combine. Speed, hands. The dude can jump. He crept into my tight end 2, maybe 3 of the class because let's face it, Weidermeyer, he's fallen off a cliff with some of the numbers he's put up.
Yeah.
Isaiah Likely's there. Tolbert's another great pick. For me, it was Tolbert or Woods. I wanted to grab that tight end there. Charlie Kohler went, another great pick. Double tight end, McBride, Kohler. You can't go wrong with McBride, I don't think. But Woods has definitely creeped up for me. Getting him in the 4th, I'll take that. I've seen him go late 2nd, early 3rd in some of the mocks. So getting him in the 4th, I'm pretty happy. Where are you going, Bursch?
You would like to know that, wouldn't you? Honestly, I'm gonna go with my boy because I'm not gonna be there when he comes back around. I think he's a sleeper in the draft. I think no one's really talking much about him. And I just compared him to Kyron Williams, and that's Hassan Haskins. I think if he gets put to a good team, great receiving back, great. Like I think he's a smart player. Like he's a guy that you want in the locker room, a guy that you go, okay, this guy is someone that wants to learn, someone that can develop into a good running back. If you put him in, say, like Tampa, where they need that RB2, I don't really believe in, the whole Vaughn story, Keyshawn Vaughn there. It's been 3 years. He hasn't really done much. I think any of these guys from Pierce to Williams to Haskins, where is he? And Ford, also my Zach's boy Batty. All these guys can be good. And I think, Tampa needs that RB2. And a lot of these back end late guys would be a great fill in for Leonard Fournette. Yeah. So I'm looking at this like, of course, we want to wait till they land somewhere. But I look at him. I'm like looking at the other guys. Ty Chandler, he's good. I don't really fully trust him out of that system. I mean, even with Jerron Ely from Ole Miss, that's why I would take, like, say, Matt Carroll would be the only guy I'd take off of Ole Miss if I had to. So I'm looking at these other guys. I'm like, who's the guy that can come out and like steal the show? Because in the 4th round, there's not that many picks that you can go, oh, hey, this guy's the Drake London of the draft. This guy is the, Zamir White. Like these guys are deeper and deeper, and these are almost like dart throws at a point. So you're hoping these rookies come in there and they steal the show right away. Like you hope you get the next Alvin Kamara. You hope you get the next like some guy that you never thought was going to be good, but his work ethic is there, his mentality is there, and his desire to play the game of football is there. Unlike Traylon Burks, who was lazy, which kind of doesn't sit well with me right now because I want that guy to be a stud baller. So I'm looking though. I didn't get to mention this because he's one of my favorite like running backs out of the draft is Robinson from Alabama. Like
yeah,
I see a lot of
he hasn't
like
gone. I'm surprised he hasn't been picked yet.
Well, he's at he went 212, but I'm hearing a lot of like,
okay, yeah, he did.
Brian, I'm hearing a lot of like negative reviews about the guy. Like, is he as bad as they're saying he is? Like, they're saying that he's
not the fastest guy,
right?
Not the fastest guy. I like the Bull Melton pick there. Sincere McCormick, great college producer, another decent pick. Bull Melton's been getting a lot of love, so another guy in the 4th can end up bringing you value. But back to Robinson, I mean, Alabama back. We've seen him produce in the NFL. Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake for a year. But he's a guy that I think NFL teams are gonna fall in love with because at the line he's that big goal line back, that big bruiser. I mean, Derrick Henry wasn't Derrick Henry in his first 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So is Brian Robinson Derrick Henry? No, I don't think he has that breakaway speed to really make that separation downfield. But is he a guy that can be 2 down, 3 down back? I mean, he's not the greatest pass catcher, but can he pass block? Yes. Is he a big body? Yes. Is he going to fall forward? Yes. Is he going to be the guy that goes on the goal line? Yes. He's going to be the guy that ends up sniping touchdowns from
Vulture.
your RB1. Yeah, he's the ultimate vulture just because mainly he's a big dude.
I like it. That's why I've been like doing, like, I've been reading all like the notes on him, and like he was good out of the draft. He was good out of it, but like people were like starting to, like, pick him apart, and like I think he comes out of here and he becomes one of the top 5 running backs of this rookie class. And I think he beats out Cook. I think Zamir White is going to be in my top 4. Robinson rounds out my top 5. But like, I'm looking at all these names in these first 2 rounds, and it might not be like a star-studded like Trevor Lawrence and all those boys, but this is a great depth / like filler, I guess, for the NFL teams, for fantasy teams, for dynasty teams. Like, there's no crazy guys besides Breece Hall, Bergs, Pickett, maybe Malik Willis. But outside of that, it's no like superstar. Like, who you can go out there and make a trade for 1-1. I'm okay with sitting at 1-5 from the way this looked like. Of course, this is all pre-team wise, but like if I'm getting Bergs, Wilson, or Drake at 4 or 5, and then Kenneth Walker's there too, you're sitting pretty. You're just gotta hope for that these guys go to a good team and they produce well.
Yeah, you're getting a stud wide receiver at the 1-5 spot. Either way, whether it's Burks, Wilson, Williams, or London. I mean, if Pickett doesn't go 1-3 and Burks goes 1-3, Wilson goes 1-4, you're still getting your choice of London or Williams. So if Burks went 1-4 and Wilson went 1-1, or Burks went 1-3 and Wilson went 1-4, would you go with Williams or London, or would you pivot to the running back at that point? Do you have maybe Kenny Walker or Isaiah Spiller ahead of Williams or London if you were caught up in that situation?
To be honest, I see the hype with Jameson Williams. I see where he comes from. Personally, I think it's John Mechie that's going to be the better one of the two. One, because of the injury, of course. I personally, I'm in love with John Mechie. I see how he plays. It just sucks that Jameson Williams was such a star, and they only lost that game to Georgia in the championship because they had no receivers. That's neither here nor there. But if I had to choose, I'm going to have to probably go with my boy out of Michigan State with Kenneth Walker. I think just looking at the way that he was, I mean, he looked like that guy that you want in the locker room, the guy who's over here. Like, I am your running back. I'm the winner. I'm the guy you want. And he's going to come into that locker room wanting the RB1 position. Doesn't matter where he's at. If you put him behind Derrick Henry, he's going to try his butt off to get in front of Derrick Henry. That's what kind of guy I see Kenneth Walker. Now, if I had a chance to come back up to the 1-6, 1-7 and try to get Drake London, by all means, get the guy. Like I said, he is the closest thing to Mike Evans that we've seen since Mike Evans got drafted. He's built like him, 6'5". He goes up. He's length. He's got long arms, and he's physical. He's not a receiver that gets hit and gets hurt. He's a physical receiver. He'll put his helmet down, and he will make sure he runs you over for 5 extra yards. It's a tough decision, but I've got to go with Kenneth Walker on that one.
We saw Ryan, producer Splash, post a question there. Does the ACL injury to Jameson Williams scare you at all? For me, it doesn't, with the advance in health science and the fact that we've seen guys come back from Achilles injuries in record time. We've seen guys come back from ACL injuries and absolutely ball out. I, for one, am not that nervous for Jameson Williams. Maybe if he ends up on Washington, I might be nervous just because of the field there. Maybe if he ends up in Baltimore, I might be a little nervous just because of the situation and the amount of people that we've seen go down on those fields, or a New York team like that. But I for one, I'm not that scared with the modern science and where we're at with these athlete injuries. ACLs are not that as scary as they used to be.
So you'll take him at 1-6? If you were 1-6,
I would take Jameson Williams at 1-6, especially if he ends up in a good spot. He gets that draft capital. I mean, the first 4 wide, I'm taking him if he goes to New England. The first 5 wide receivers taken in this draft. So Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Drake London, Chris Olave can all end up with day one capital. They could all end up in that first round of the draft. With the movement of the wide receivers in the NFL, there are a few teams that are looking for that wide receiver one. There's even rumblings now of DK Metcalf possibly being on the move in Seattle. I know Kansas City's been on the horn. The New York Jets were tied to Tyreek Hill, so they're obviously going to be tied to any one of these big name wide receivers that are available or not available, in Pete Carroll's words. But I still think they're available for trade, especially if you're getting a haul, especially with these wide receiver contracts that have been given out. I mean, if Christian Kirk's getting 20 schmil, I can only imagine what DK Metcalf's going to ask for. And Seattle, a rebuilding team, are they going to want to put that money into a wide receiver? So move them, get the draft capital, unless you think you're still going to be one of the elite contenders in the NFL. I mean, the NFC is wide open. So Seattle can definitely do some things in the draft, maybe make some noise with a trade or whatever, and get back in there put themselves in a position to compete to get into the playoffs. I just want to thank everybody who joined our mock draft today. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Everyone that was in the room, thank you for helping us out with this. We appreciate your time. But I think all in all, the best team, even though it was only 4 players, is the team in the second spot.
What? Pull up my roster right now and put these guys in.
You definitely did good. You got my boy Christian Watson, but that's only because I couldn't pass up Isaiah Spiller in the second. Looking at the draft board, Steph, what is the best value pick to you in this rookie mock?
To be honest, I'm looking at a lot. I said his name a few times. I'm stuck between Zamir White being at 210 and also Christian Watson falling at 2.5. Like, I expect him to be gone way before that. I know you're gonna be looking at him in our drafts. I just think at 6'5", the guy is a beast. I mean, yeah, he went to North Dakota State, but we've had some good prospects out of North Dakota State. It's a winning program. They knew nothing but to win. So he's got the mentality to be a winner. He's got the frame and the body size to be a good receiver. I mean, like I said, Zamir White is also one I think could be going a lot sooner. A guy, if I see on the board after my 2-4 pick I would love to trade back in, try to snag. I look at this entire draft, and I'm starting to make clear of like why they're trading away Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, why these guys are getting just traded to other teams that will pay for him, because you can take a lot of these receivers and make them into NFL-ready receivers. 12 receivers are being taken within the first 2 rounds, and all these guys are easily startable. Every one of them right now, from Traylon Burks all the way through Sky Moore, are all starting receivers, and then Austin, Melton, Shakir, like all those guys are good, 2-3s.
Yep.
But everyone up into 211 could be a borderline receiver 2, receiver 1.
Yep. You can rebuild your wide receiver room, picking a wide receiver day 3, picking a wide receiver late day 2. You can rebuild your room, and teams with a lot of picks in this draft, like KC, like Seattle, they can end up rebuilding their wide receiver room in this draft alone because of the depth of the draft. Quarterbacks, it's not that deep. I was personally surprised to see 4 of them go in the first round. If I had to pick a reach, I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett at 1-3. I don't think I'm taking Kenny Pickett there at the 3rd, even though it's a super flex draft, picking them that early. I mean, I'm taking Burks, Wilson, I'm taking Williams, London, Walker, I'm taking Olave, I'm taking Spiller over Pickett. I mean, if Pickett ends up in Pittsburgh and ends up being the starter, then I think maybe he's gonna creep up in a lot of rookie drafts, but I don't think I'm taking Pickett at the 1-3. What's your biggest reach of the draft?
I think it's Matt Corral. Honestly, I'm looking at that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Matt Corral, and then also the Desmond Ridder. I think those 2 picks are the ones that kind of like I look at. I like Desmond Ridder. I just don't trust Desmond Ridder. I mean, he was good, but like I don't know if it's going to translate completely into the NFL. I think he's more like a next year kind of a starter, not this season starter. I mean, I'd rather just pick like what I'm looking at the board. I'd rather pick any of these guys from the 2-7, maybe the 2-6, all the way forward. I would take Pickens maybe at the end, McBride, Watson. I just don't. I think Ritter was a good system quarterback. I think they had a good team around him, a good coach. I just don't like it for the NFL right now because I don't know where he's going to end up. Like he could be just ending up on, I don't know, like the Cowboys for a backup. He can end up on a team that he might not see the field as much as we want. It's fantasy, so we're all imagining he lands in a team like Seattle. He lands in Houston or somewhere that he knows he can take the spot. But like right now, it's just those are the two ones I'm not really sitting with because outside of Pickett and Willis, not really confident on the other quarterbacks. I think they're all going to be backups for a little bit before they had the chance to actually start.
Yep, I agree with that. I mean, out of all of them, I think Ritter is probably the most pro ready. He did play in a kind of pro style offense there in Cincinnati. So if I am the Seahawks and I bring him in to compete with Drew Lock, who has shown flashes of being a decent quarterback, but if Ritter comes in and absolutely shows out, we've seen Seattle not be afraid to pull that trigger when they signed that. Who's that quarterback they signed from Green Bay through the 6 touchdowns?
Oh, the guy who, the 1-6 touchdown game.
I always know his name until I need to bring it up. Matt Flynn. There you go.
Yeah, 6 touchdowns against the Lions, by the way, guys.
And then they drafted Wilson. In the third
or fourth round?
Third or fourth round.
That summer, it was that year too.
They brought in Flynn. They drafted Wilson. They went through training camp, OTAs, all that stuff. They liked what they saw out of Wilson. They're not afraid to pull that trigger and make the rookie a starting quarterback. And we've all seen what Russell Wilson can do. The guy's getting paid, traded to Denver. I like that move for Denver, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Ritter start for the Seattle Seahawks if he gets drafted by the Seahawks. But I mean, that's it for us. This is a Rookie Mock 101. We're going to be doing a bunch more, especially after the draft. We're going to compare this one, our first one, to the first one we do after the NFL draft and see how much draft capital and location affects where these guys end up in your rookie drafts. Stefan, thanks again for your time, big guy. Appreciate you as always. Let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Well, outside on the Sleeper app, as you can see, I've got David Ruffin's burner account as my guy. You can meet me down at Bears Problems right here. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on uSTADIUM app. I'm looking for something to talk about. Like this rookie stuff I've been trying to study more up on before I get my butt kicked in our league. I try to catch up on the Devy stuff. So, like I said, any questions, any thoughts, any complaints, anything, you know where to find me. Because come fantasy football season, it'll be right here all day for you guys. So, other than that, I want to do our next quarterback list again. I'm looking at all these news. I'm waiting to redo these lists so much. So.
Yeah, we got to pop Watson in there. We got to move guys up. We got to move guys back.
Yeah,
I mean, our lists have taken a beating since we've made them a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen those, if you don't know what we're talking about, go to the uSTADIUM YouTube page, like, subscribe, and you can find all of our older stuff on there. We got the Sonny Carton show, which is electric. We got a bunch of stuff coming. TSD, which is on air tomorrow. The Sports Desk show with Splash and Jack. I mean, they're breaking down everything. And don't forget to download the uSTADIUM app and get in on the takes feature. I don't know the score of the Nets and the Pistons game.
It wasn't good at halftime, I'll tell you that right now.
I know the first quarter was not good for me. It was 33-36 in the first quarter, and I was like, oh no. What's the score?
Let's chalk that one up. It's 106-103.
Oh, okay. I got a little bit of leeway there.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you one thing, though. If you wanted to make one good hot take, one good bet, always bet the Pistons with the spread. They are 14-1-1 against the spread.
There you go. People pay for that information. And you're getting it free here on uSTADIUM Fantasy. That's it for us today. We appreciate you joining. We appreciate everybody that joined the rookie draft with us. And we'll see you guys next week.